Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to Wrestling Days Live. We are live for WCW, the final episode of Nitro. Hope everyone is well. Again, we're having to do this a very weird way where I can't basically see anything. So I hate streaming this way. I really do hate streaming this way. But I hope everyone is okay. We are going to be watching the final Nitro. Of course, great friend of the channel, C Wrestling. It is C Wrestling's birthday today as well. So when he joins us, then obviously want to wish him a very happy birthday. So you can actually see behind me that I managed to find a picture from C Wrestling's Instagram account. There is C Wrestling celebrating earlier today with some of his friends. Sadly, doesn't look like they're following social distancing guidelines, but still, there we go. A lot of you, it amazes me that a lot of people haven't seen what C Wrestling looks like, but there we go. You're getting a good glimpse right now of the man, the legend. I've said to him so many times, I don't know why you don't show yourself on camera more. Like, he doesn't think that he looks that great, but I think he looks fine. I think he looks absolutely fine. So there we go. If you are wondering, C Wrestling in the background. Shout out. Okay, I can see that people are slowly finding their way into the stream. Hello. Yes, we Imtiaz is here. Hello, shout out to you. We've got Josh saying, "What did I miss?" Haven't missed anything, my friend. We literally started seconds ago. That's it. Seconds ago we started. We are going to be watching the final episode of WCW Nitro. Of course, we're going to talk about the news as well, and any bits that's in the news. I've got to be honest, it's been a very slow day. There actually hasn't been a great deal of stuff to talk about. I did find quite an interesting quote from Triple H talking about his thoughts on him being in the ladder match, the Money in the Bank match. So I found that, which I thought was very interesting. Obviously, we can talk about last night as well. I think what we'll do is we'll just chat for about half an hour, and then we will watch the final episode of Nitro. We're gonna about 20 odd minutes. I mean, we've been 4 minutes we've been going, so about 20 odd minutes, and then we will jump into that final episode of Nitro. In regards to last night's segment, the internet seems to be quite split on the fact that the Vince McMahon Triple H segment, did people like it? Did people not like it? In fact, let me know in the chat what you thought of that segment. In fact, score that segment out of 10. Score last night's Triple H segment out of 10 for me, because I've seen people saying 0 and it's one of the worst things they've ever seen. But then I've seen people saying it was 10 out of 10. I for the record, I really liked it. I thought that I understand the Vince part was a little strange, but you do have to remember he's 74, plus he is Vince McMahon. So just seeing Vince is like really cool. You don't see it that often. So I'm very hello, C's here. Shout out to you. Sorry, I didn't see you sneak in. Shout out to the birthday boy. There he is. Look behind. The birthday boy. What do you want me to? Do you want me to put that? Let me know. See, do you want me to put? Oh, why am I talking to you here? I can talk to you here. Yeah. So get your scores. Bang. Get your scores in. The episode of Nitro has got two of my favourite promos ever, says Sean Flagstaff. Here we go. Look, Thomas says 8. James says 9. DJ B Tazzy says 10. Ben says 10. Eric says 9. Ryan says 7.25. Lee said 9. Josh says 9. Famous KJ says 9, but Brian says 2.5. Gavin says 6. Liam says 10. The Dukes says 9. Before Vince 8. The Vince bit 2. I would agree with Anna on this. I would agree with a lot of you. I can totally get this. I totally understand. I really feel like the Stephanie part was a lot of fun, where she was on the phone and you've got like Sean going, nah. Stephanie no fun and all this, and then showing the video clips of all of Triple H's losses, some of those DX outtakes. Triple H about to spit the water and them taking the bottle away. There was quite a few like moments like that I thought were really good, that I really enjoyed. Vince came out, and the criticism seems to be that Vince just rambled, meandered, and lost his way. And I totally see that. I do understand that. But I would say that he was saying that Triple H was, wasn't a draw, and that this was an awful segment, just like other awful segments and other things that hadn't worked. And then he spoke about Gobbledygooker and Bailey and things like that. But I do understand what people are saying. Like, it just ends with the lights going up. Like, I think people really wanted The Fiend, or they wanted some kind of big moment, or I think that big moment was Vince, to be honest. I think Vince coming out was meant to be the big moment, and then that's it. Right, we're done. Let's go. And then the lights off. So, yeah, it's really, really interesting. I've had people getting in touch with me on Twitter going, what was that all about? What a car crash that was. But then I've had people getting in touch with me saying it was amazing. It was a fantastic segment. I really liked it. I've said that. I said that in the reaction. I said it earlier. But I wanted to kind of get a snapshot as to what you lot thought. Because it really has it. I mean, obviously no one's wrong. But yeah, if you're sat there going, I hated it, you're not alone. If you sat there saying you loved it, you're not alone. It really split people, which I think is quite interesting. Right, I can tell you that C Wrestling has sent me a picture. Let me see. How can I send that over? I will put this exclusive picture. I've been given an exclusive picture by C Wrestling, which I am going to try and put in the background. As we said, you can all see behind me right now. If you are just joining, there is C Wrestling now. That's what C Wrestling looks like now. That's what he's blossomed into. I just really don't understand why he doesn't do more face reveal videos and things along those lines, but each to their own. Each to their own. So that's what he is. That's what he looks like now. He has sent me an image of him as a youngster, just when he was a lowercase c rather than a capital C, when he was a baby C. He sent me an image of that. Now, it's just going to take me a second to grab it because it's on my phone, so I've just had to transfer it over to my laptop. The alternative was I could have signed into Twitter, but actually, I can't even remember my sign-in details anymore. How bad is that? Right, let me go into this. Give me one momento, and I will have this sorted. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. I will read out what Triple H said as well about Money in the Bank. I really want to go through that because I do think that's very interesting as well, what he had to say. As we said, in around about 10-15 minutes, we will start watching Nitro. That's why we're here. We're going to be watching the final episode of Nitro. This is something that C Wrestling has been asking for us to do for a few weeks. It never got voted on, but at least we're here now and we can watch it now and talk about that final episode, which, to be honest, I've never seen. I've never seen the whole episode. So it's going to be quite interesting. Right, here we go. Got it. This is... Do you know what? This is actually an image of C Wrestling that you are about to see. Are you ready for Baby C? Yeah? Here we go. Here we go. Oh, you can see it, actually. Boom. There we go. There it is. It's kind of like stare. I feel like wrestling staring down on me. Ah! Attack of the giant babies! Ah! In a minute, I feel like he's just going to take my head and just start, like, suckling away on my hat or something. That is, I kind of feel like, can I just say, like, the pit, I don't know why I'm ducking down, but I am. So, there we go, we've got Attack of the Giant Sea Wrestling. How do I change this now? I feel like it's, like, forcing me down into a corner like this. I feel like I'm being attacked. I feel like my liberties are being attacked. Can I move it? Can I make the baby fly up or something? How do I do this? How do I do? Oh my god. I'm having a nightmare here. I'm having a nightmare. Okay. Yes. There it is. Whoa. Okay, look, I feel like I'm getting a bit more space now. Little C it is, little C. Little C, look, staring down, trying to work out a few Bray Wyatt theories. There it is. Just this giant overlord, this giant baby overlord that's watching over the street. Look, it's actually staring at the chat right now. The way that it's looking at all of your comments. This giant baby. Which is, like, spoiler, that is actually C Wrestling. That is just been sent to me on Twitter, so there we go. There we go. Oh, that's better. Look, I feel like I can move my head now. Ooh, move it to the... I can't move it to the left. I think that's the edge of the picture. Otherwise, I would try and take that top corner bit away. Do you know what? It doesn't matter. We're not here to feng shui the stream. It's done what it's needed to do. We are being looked down on by a giant baby overlord, and I'm sorry, but if you have to come to expect these kinds of things from these streams, do you know what I mean? So, I might vomit in a minute. Oh my god, could you imagine? Right, let me read you about what Triple H had to say. Because I've got to be honest, as soon as I saw this, I thought, oh, that's really interesting. And I was really toying with doing a separate video on it, but I never did. But this has come from Newsweek, and they asked him about him getting involved in Money in the Bank. Now, of course, a lot of people thought that he might get involved in Money in the Bank this year, and he didn't. Obviously, that segment, as we've already spoke about, kind of did end in a very strange way. But this is what he had to say about Money in the Bank. So, I have no desire to climb a high ladder and get pushed off it. There are certain guys that are built for ladders and certain guys that are not. And I am not. My ladder matches have normally involved me whacking someone with it or getting whacked with it a lot. So climbing and falling is not my forte. When the Money in the Bank ladder matches started to come around, it was built as an additional match for WrestleMania. I've really just had other stories going on where I was never able to get involved with those Money in the Bank matches. I've had ladder matches. I've been involved in a lot of them. It's not something that I regret because you've never seen me doing a moonsault for that very same reason. So there we go. Triple H being very, very clear. Very clear. He has got no desire to be involved in a ladder match. He is not the kind of person that's built to go falling off of ladders. And I just thought it was really interesting because, of course, I thought there would be a chance that he would get involved because of the climbing the corporate ladder. And obviously a large part of this year's match is going to be actually climbing a building rather than climbing a ladder. But of course, by the time you get to the top, then you are going to have to climb the ladder as well. So, yeah, even with this happening quite literally in his backyard, he is not interested. So, yeah. Remember to, yes, we will tweet the stream. Let's tweet the stream. It's a good shout. I gotta say, I'm a little bit underprepared today because I spent quite a bit of time looking to try and find like what news was out there, and it's just really quiet. It's just a really quiet day. So I kind of spent quite a bit of time looking to see, what were people talking about, and honestly, what most people have been talking about is that segment from last night, and about the whole Triple H thing, and yeah, we'll have to see if any other news kind of breaks. Let me do no copyright content. So if you are just joining us, it is C Wrestling's birthday. And we are going to start in about 8 minutes at WCW Watch Along. I've tweeted it as well. So, I should have just stole yours, Anna, in all fairness, rather than trying to type out a new message. But there we go. Yeah, let me do that. You can see how organised I am today. WCW Final Nitro. Final Nitro Watch Along. Boom. Tonight is going to feature the likes of Ric Flair. It's going to feature the likes of Sting. It's going to feature the likes of Vince McMahon. It's going to feature the likes of Rey Mysterio. We're also going to be seeing Booker T. We're also going to be seeing Scott Steiner. And many more. And many more. Let's put it that way. There's quite a few people on tonight's show. So I say tonight's show. This happened in 2001, but you know what I mean. This Tonight Show from 19 years ago. Right, okay. Let me jump over to the WWE Network. And let me see if I can at least find the show. We are about 7 minutes away, as I said, about 7 minutes away, and then we will start WCW Nitro, the final WCW Nitro. I think something that's quite interesting to mention about this is the fact that it's not very long, actually. It's only on for an hour and 28 minutes. And people didn't know what was going to be said. The crowd obviously didn't know what was going to be said. They just knew that WWE had bought WCW. And in fact, not everyone even knew that. Because obviously in 2001, the internet was in its infancy. So, yeah, it's kind of a very, very weird time. People still don't really know what's happening. All right, let's press play. Boom. Pause. Found it. Right, I've got it queued up. So there we go. I'm really looking forward to this, actually. We've watched a bit of ECW recently, and I've really enjoyed that. So, Coaster Maniacs says, happy birthday to C Wrestling. Watching this freezing, breaking news, Ice Cubes are cold video after this stream. What, Coaster, are you putting that video up after this tonight? Are you putting up your Ice Cube video after tonight? Let me know. Anna says, to watch with us, just jump onto the WWE Network. Yes. Go to the WWE Network, search for WCW Monday Nitro. Just go to the very final one, the last one that's on there. Just to confirm, it is March 26th, 2001. You got 5 minutes, so you got plenty of time to jump onto there and try and find it. As I said, do you know what? I'm really looking forward to this because it's going to run for an hour and a half. I don't like shows that go over 3 hours, personally. I thought Mania this year was beautiful. I'm hoping they're going to do it in the future. Although next year, I think has already been booked as 1 day. So I think next year we're going to go back to that epic long... It's too exhausting, I find. It's too much. By the time you get to the main event, you're drained. And I think the main events really suffer. You're just kind of like, ugh. So, but I really like this show. I thought this show was done so much better, and apparently they are looking at WrestleMania 38, WrestleMania 39 as being 2-day events. So, Eric Haberman says, Days, did you hear that the UFC is returning in May? I did. Yep, that card looks absolutely stacked. In 2 weeks' time, it looks like we're going to have UFC on the Saturday. And that card is going to be one of the biggest cards they've ever done, because pretty much every fight is huge, because it's all from the cancelled shows over the past month and a half. So they've just put it all into this. So it's this absolutely epic card. All that's missing is like Conor McGregor, but of course he is having to self-isolate, or, well, not self-isolate, well, I suppose he is, but he is trapped in Ireland. There's obviously no way of getting him over to America at this time because of the travel ban, so there's no way of adding him to the card. Khabib is Ramadan, he's fasting at the moment, so he can't fight at this time. So you can't have Khabib, you can't have Conor, but literally outside of that, this card is absolutely stacked. So that's going to be in 2 weeks' time. So it looks like we're going to stream that on the Saturday. And then on the Sunday, Money in the Bank. So a massive weekend coming up, not next weekend, the weekend after. Right, we've got 3 minutes to go. Coaster Maniac says, yes, my video's going up straight after this. Cool. To find the show on the network, type in WCW Nitro 2001, March 26th. There we go. Hasib said, Days, you seem to enjoy the main event segment. Yep. A lot of other people on YouTube didn't like it, including myself. There's a lot of people that did. As we said at the start, I think that it was a fairly mixed response. From what I've seen, it was more positive than negative. I'd be confident if I was to run a poll on Twitter that it would have a more positive outcome than a negative outcome. And that's saying something for Twitter. We just did a quick little poll on here, actually. And it was more positive than negative. But if you didn't enjoy it, you're not wrong. As I said, I can totally understand that the Vince segment kind of, he's 74. He's 74. 74. Which is kind of amazing just to think that. When I think of Vince, I do think of an out-of-touch old man, but I don't think of a 74-year-old old man. Like, that guy that came out on the stage, on the entrance stage, did not look 74 to me, so. But then he is a billionaire, so he can afford not to. Shout out to Wrestling Days fan. The Jukes says, I really enjoyed the Triple T podcast. Yes, thank you very much. Love those. Love the reaction to those as well. And honestly, one of my favourite parts of the week is jumping over there after the Smackdown stream and just chatting with you guys. And obviously, Tommy joins us as well. So yeah, it's really cool. Triple H is not overrated, says Sean Rousset. Days, the only part of this Nitro I've seen is the last match. Do you know what Jerry's saying? I've seen the opening with Vince, and I think you might have seen it as well because it's been used in a lot of clips, little video clips. But I've seen the last match, and of course the bit with Shane. But the meat in the middle, if you will, the actual show itself, never seen. And I'll be the first to say my WCW knowledge is not great. I know Finger Poker Doom, I know Goldberg Streak, I've gone back and watched a lot of their big shows, Bash at the Beach and, NWO and Sting in the Rafters and Goldberg, Bret Hart and, those kind of big moments. I know all of those, but I was never someone that was watching Nitro every week. And I've gone back and kind of caught up with a lot of the bits we've just spoke about and other bits as well, of course. I've never seen this Nitro, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So I'm definitely gonna need you lot are gonna know way more, as per usual, than what I know about this. So keep dropping in your comments because yeah, you lot are gonna really add a lot to this. Really add a lot to this. Right, yes, Coaster Maniac says, dropping that after. Ben Russell says, Days, I've never seen the full episode, so this is going to be fun. Boom. Days, I got around to watching the podcast earlier, and it was awesome, says, thank you very much, buddy. Down the line, do you think Vince will buy AEW? Never say never, because, of course, would anyone have said that Vince would have bought WCW? I mean, no, you just would have said there's no way that that would happen, but it did. So never say never, but I mean, of course I'm going to sit here and say it's highly unlikely, but who can say Famous KJ says, shout out to C Wrestling, happy birthday to him. Absolutely. If you are just joining us, I haven't lost my mind. This picture in the background is a picture that C Wrestling sent to us. I am being attacked by a giant baby, and that baby is C Wrestling. So there we go. Many congratulations to him. Hope he's having a great day, which, you know, under these circumstances might be tricky, but yeah, not impossible. Let's put it that way. Might be tricky, but it's not impossible. What's up, Days? How are you doing? I want to say happy birthday to C Wrestling. You've just done it. I'm interested to watch this as I've never seen any episode of WCW. Amazing. That's what it's all about, baby. Shout out to Frederick WWE. Says, I'm a huge WCW fan. My favorite character is Ric Flair. Woo! King Beast of the best raps. Asking, will there be more toy hunts? There will in the future, yep. There will. Monica King says, I've only seen a few matches from the final Nitro. Well, there we go. You're going to see them all now. All thanks to C Wrestling. This was his idea. And Jody Gilly jumping in saying happy birthday, C. Sunny Wolf says baby C. Yep, it's lowercase c. That's what we've got. Lowercase c, not the capital C that we know now. Marcus J, shout out to you, buddy. LSW says, what's your favourite Monday Night War moment? Well, that's a great one to ask the chat. What is your favourite Monday Night War moment? So drop it in. I mean, I'm obviously going to think of things from a WWF perspective because, as I've said, I wasn't someone that watched WCW. So I straight away think about, you know, Triple H invading with the tank and trying to get in, and like, you know, really taking the fight to WCW. Like, as a kid, that was amazing. Absolutely loved that. So yeah, I was really into that. Of course, WCW, as a lot of you know, actually was battering WWF in the ratings for 2 years, 83 weeks. There's that podcast, isn't there, with Conrad and Eric Bischoff. 83 weeks in a row they beat WWE. So a lot of you watching might be not know a great deal about WCW. But it was not just the equal of WWE, but for 83 weeks it battered it. It absolutely battered it. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Right, here we go then, friends. Are we ready? Let's get ready to rumble. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. Boom. We're playing. We are underway. I'm at 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. So there we go. Old WCW. Well, it's all old, isn't it? And we're starting with Vinnie Mac. Me. Vince McMahon. Raw is war. This is just days before WrestleMania 17, by the way. So if you watched the WrestleMania 17 watch along with us, this is what was going down just days before. So Vince talking about the fact he's bought his own competition. I've got the opportunity to address you, the WCW fans. The WCW superstars. He must have been loving this. Could you imagine fighting that fight for so long, so hard? All you think about is destroying WCW. And you actually get to be on the open of their show. John, shout out to you. Daryl says, I'm feeling old now. Sean says, I remember watching this live. It was mind-blowing that WWF WWE was buying WCW. Seeing a McMahon on Nitro was crazy. Kept flipping the channels back and forth. Yeah, you had to do that back in the day. You used to have to do that. I've only seen Ric Flair versus Sting, never the full show. Here we go, look, this is Night of Champions, so I believe all of their championships are on the line tonight. So there's going to be a lot of championship matches. This is Panama City, and I can tell you a fun fact about the crowd that I know because I've seen the poster. And that was that for $30, you could go and see the show, and it was free bar. Free bar, $30. You got to see the show, and it was free bar. How amazing is that? What a bargain that is. This is Night of Champions. Lauren, shout out to you. Marcus J, you can watch it on the network, the WWE network. King Beast off the best raps. Shout out to you. They're saying, what does he have to say? Of course, you can't. What's in store for us? The future of WCW is in his hands. Surreal day. You can say that again. Yeah, they keep saying this. They keep saying this is the last night on Turner Network. I've read a lot of people, a lot of reports on this where they've said it felt like WCW wasn't necessarily ending. It just felt like it was ending on Turner Network. The truth is, though, this is the last Nitro ever. This is the end. And I don't know if people fully appreciated it. I think they probably thought, because I think there was even a plan that WCW was going to continue, but it was just going to be owned by WWE, but it would still continue under the WCW name. But obviously never came to fruition because we all know that the invasion after this, where the WCW stars go over, it was just awfulness. It's just absolutely rubbish. Because they couldn't get the big names they wanted. DJ B Tazzy says, happy birthday to C Wrestling. There we go. I shouted it for you. My favourite Monday Night War moment is when Eric Bischoff did the spoilers for WWE when Mankind won the title. And then didn't everyone jump over to watch? £10 a podcast. Shout out to you, my friend. Right, Ric Flair. Did I? Woo! Did I? Did I hear Vince McMahon say he was going to hold WCW in his hands? Is that what he said? Are you going to hold Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk, Luger, the Steiners, Bagwell, Flair? Are you going to hold us all in the palm of your hands? I don't think so. This is so... Look at the passion. It must have been so confusing to be a WCW fan watching this. Like, this is your... Imagine watching AEW and the first thing you see is a smiling Vince McMahon saying that he now owns AEW and its fate is in his hands. And then out comes Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes is cutting a promo saying, did I just hear you say AEW is in your hands? I don't think so. EC3 has teased that he's going to move to AEW. He has. Hello, Miss Clown One. C Wrestling says, fun fact, all these championship matches were done because they needed to put the championship belts on the people going to WWF. That's how unplanned all of this was. Sean Flagstaff says, one of the greatest promos ever cut. He's actually said that he was glad that WCW closed, though, Flair. They didn't treat him brilliant. Bischoff didn't treat him brilliant. I love this. Just for trivia. Did you know? I love the fact he just throws that in. He throws in the fact that in 1981, Vince McMahon's dad voted for Ric Flair to be world champion. Days, I'm really, really excited. I haven't seen much WCW shows except for the NWO matches. I love the NWO. They're too sweet. Unfortunately, the NWO it was done by this point. So there's no NWO on this show. There's no Hogan or Nash or they were already gone. Anyone else think that Ric Flair, by the way, looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog? Have you seen his hair? Look at his hair. If you dye that hair blue, that is quite literally Sonic the Hedgehog in the ring. Days, do you think Scott Steiner should be in the Hall of Fame? I think the Steiners should, yes. I suppose Scott Steiner has had a Hall of Fame career. He's been world champion. I think he's world champion here. William Hensey. When do we sing Happy Birthday to See Wrestling? Start it off. So passion. Look at the passion. He's going off on one, isn't he? He's just absolutely going off on. I don't know if this was scripted or not. I would guess not. We're the greatest wrestling company of all time. Look at that beach ball that says Vince sucks. In closing, let me say this. In all my years. He says, if we're going out... So there we go. Ric Flair says in all of his time, his greatest opponent was Sting. So if we're going out in style. Stinger, I want you one last time. Sting chants. To be the man. You gotta beat the man. I'm the man. Woo! Vince, first XFL, now WCW. Wow. How did they know about XFL all the way back then? How did they know the XFL would fail in 2020 all the way back then? Title versus title. Booker T versus Scott Steiner. Oh, what? Ah, look at this! Snub it to the Slim Jim! Macho Man! Macho Man Randy Savage in a little Slim Jim advert. Oh, I didn't know these. Why are these adverts on? Why are these adverts on? This is amazing. America Online. Snap into a Slim Jim. Night of Champions. Daisy, are you more a fan of NWO Hollywood or NWO Wolfpack? I'd go with Wolfpack because I like the logos better. That's it. Right, we've got Scott Steiner with the World Heavyweight Championship around his waist. Big Popper Pump making his way down. I really like the fact that we're outside. I really like the fact that it's got a real... It's not in an arena, you know? Feels different and special. Look at him. Okay, so this is title versus title. This is going to be World Heavyweight Champion Scott Steiner taking on United States. They had the United States belt, didn't they? United States Champion. So, Scott Steiner versus Booker T. We're actually going to start. So far... We've had a killer Ric Flair promo. That's an ugly belt. I really don't like that belt. Look at that. Look at that United States title compared to the one we've got, like, now. I'm not a fan of the one we've got now, but I do think it's better than this one. Very emotional night. It's a very young crowd because this is like spring break time. So, and they're in Panama City, so that's why it's a very young crowd that's there. And it's a free bar as well, so that's always going to help. But here we go. This is title versus title. This is World Heavyweight Championship against United States Champion. Like, both belts on the line. It's incredible, isn't it? It's like a mini WrestleMania, says DJ B Tazzy. It's a very, very special show, yes. Scott Steiner is a math tutor on his off time. Here we go, look, Booker against the ropes. 1, 2... Kick out by Steiner. Steiner's and Harlem Heat had great tag matches, yes. Wish we had Surfer Sting instead of the Crow Sting. Surfer Sting was my favourite as well. I know that people love the Crow, the Vigilante, up in the rafters, all of that. Totally get it. But I just grew up watching Surfer Sting, so I do love Surfer Sting. The thing is that Sting has said though that he couldn't do it at this age. Like that was like a late 80s look. You know, by this point he's old now. You know, the hair's thinning and. Maybe he could have got away with it here. I'm not sure, but time waits for no one, does it? Here we go. Booker T was throwing some shots on Steiner. Steiner with a powerbomb going for a pin. Booker T kicks out. Don't forget, this whole show is on for an hour and a half. That's it. I think. Oh. Because, of course, the adverts would have taken up half an hour. And back in the day, these shows were 2 hours rather than 3. Here we go. Oh, he's got the bat. Using that pipe. Booker T was awesome. Back in the day, the US champ was the #1 contender, says Horsewoman. Here we go. Against the ropes goes Booker. Clothesline. Elbow drop. Push-ups. Surfer Sting had the best matches. Crow Sting was slower. Have you spotted the sign in the crowd that says, "I'm not wearing pants"? Oh, are they self-isolating? I haven't seen that. Big popper pump on his trunks. Belly to belly. Down goes Booker. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. I haven't seen that. I'm not wearing pants. 31 title reigns between these two. How weird. How weird that we're starting the show with this World Championship match. Hello, Mr. Monkey. Hope you are well. Shout out to you. Gotta get in those push-ups. Here we go. Steiner hurling Booker over into the corner. Back elbow. Big strikes coming in by Booker T. Against the ropes goes Scott Steiner. Club to the back of the head. There we go. Booker landing on his feet. Nice. Couldn't quite extend the legs on that drop kick, could he? Who are those people in the front row with masks on? Are they La Parka masks? Are they wearing La Parka masks? Just got these weird people in the front row, like with white ghoulish faces. I can't quite make out what they are. What are we up to? I am at 18:55. Pancake down goes Scott Steiner and the Spinner-Rooney. Oh, big kick. Down goes Scott Steiner again. The crowd are going absolutely bananas. I tell you, we saw that ECW show the other day. Crowd going crazy. Crowd are going crazy on this as well. Shoulder up, shoulder up. No, Coaster Maniacs. Spinner-Rooney time it was. Here we go, look. Big pop-up. Oh, Booker lands on his feet. 2. Done. That's it. Booker T gets the title back. Wow, there we go. That was our first opening match. Booker T against Scott Steiner. Not really much to the match. Yeah, Booker T getting the victory. Callan Corner says, hello, Days. I'm going to miss a lot of this, which I hate. I will try and get back before you guys are done. Happy birthday to C Wrestling. Hope you've had an awesome day. William Hensey saying the dead man is asking for a shout out. Shout out to the dead man. Joe Wrestling says Booker T is WCW World Champion. Yes. What an honor that is on the final. Well, it is actually. To say you was the champion on the final Nitro. That is actually really cool. And obviously the World Heavyweight Championship would go over to WWE as well, so. What's this? 1-800-COLLECT. $1-800-COLLECT. What is 1-800-COLLECT? What does it do? Could you talk to the superstars? Is that what it was? This is wild, man. I love this. Woo! Spring break! No way! That costs money. Why is the camera doing this as well? We love you, WCW! No way! That costs money! Oh, man. So 90s. In 2001. Night of Champions. And what's headlining this Night of Champions? A non-championship match. Here's Vinnie Mac again. Look at this, he's actually... What was the point in that? Vince on the phone saying out of all the places to choose, they choose some redneck Florida backlot. Vince just healing it up. I suppose he's building up him being a heel for later in the show. It must have really wound you up the wrong way. That again, the only way you can put this into perspective is to say, imagine if he did this on AEW. Okay, let's get down. 3 count. Young Dragons. Okay. Filthy Animals. This is going to blow people's minds. This is Rey Mysterio without a mask. Are you ready? A lot of you won't have seen Rey Mysterio without a mask. Have they even shot? I didn't even see them. Where are they? 2, kick to the back. What kind of theme song is this? All the theme songs are questionable. Face first. Where is he? I haven't even seen him. Oh, there he is. There he is. Look, on the edge. Look, jumping up now. Springboard. There he is, look. Without his mask on. And he's got horns. Oh, seated senton. Rey Mysterio. The memories, says DJB Tazzy. 3 count was terrible, but Shane Helms is an amazing wrestler. Yeah, the Hurricane. He would go on to be the Hurricane. to the outside. We've got full on. This match for me is all about Rey Mysterio, of course. Who would you rather see wrestle again, Booker or Hogan? I think Hogan would be the bigger deal. Rey was maskless for like 3 years in WCW. Anyone who watches New Legacy Inc. knows who 3 Count is. Here's Rey. Oh, I bet he wish he had a mask on there. Face first. Rey, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he have to take his mask off because NWO reformed and they said that the LWO had to break up, they had to disband, and Rey refused. So it was a hair versus mask, and they lost. So he had to take his mask off. I think that's how it all came about. 2, kick to the head. Hello, Yusuf. Hope you are well. Deadman says WCW Nitro sucks. 1, 2. No, couldn't get it. Do you know, I don't even know. I didn't even hear what this is for. This is triple threat tag team match to determine the #1 contenders for the WCW Cruiser Tag Team Championships. 1, 2. So there we go. This is to find out who the #1 contenders are. Over the top to the outside. If you are just joining us, we've already been watching for 27 minutes 25. Rey Mysterio into the corner. Gets kicked into the midsection. Big strikes. No. Whoa, nice. Oh, big right hand. Why is Gronkowski going back to NFL? I think he's just got the opportunity and he's gone for it, hasn't he? Oh, little wobble. Guillotine leg drop. 2, 3. Did he get it? There we go. He's got it. They've won. These matches aren't staying around for very long, are they? I suppose, in all fairness, if every title is on the line tonight, they've got to be quick. Ric Flair versus Sting as well. Imagine WCW in 2020. I suppose that you're getting, that's what AEW is in many ways, isn't it? I would say AEW is WCW because they use a lot of the same themes. Here's Trish. A celebration toast in your honor. Oh, watching him flirt with Trish is just... I didn't like any of that. I didn't like any of that at all. Oh, I feel violated just watching it. Days, my favourite WCW moment was when Shane said the name on the contract does say... Well, we'll get there, Ben. We'll get there. Mr. McMahon, Mr. McMonkey. That's what... The dead man, same. If the Attitude Era happened today, could you imagine some of the stuff they did happening whilst Twitter exists? That's true. They just wouldn't get away with a lot of it. Days, I'm scarred. I know. We want Linda. We want Linda. Green Yellow Army, shout out to you. We got Chavo Guerrero. Okay, Chavo. Hang That's not how you spell Guerrero. Is this Shane Helms? Here we go. We got the dancers coming out. I mean, they are putting on a show. Oh, look at this. I could be one of them dancers. Totally would apply if it was 2001. Sugar Shane Helms, the WCW Cruiserweight champion, would go on to become the Hurricane. Awful music. I don't hear this music and think, yes, we've got a big fighter on the way now. Right, we're underway with this Cruiserweight match, and it should be fun. Should be fun. I hope it's fun. Better be fun. Are these the Spice Girls? I'm going to tell my grandkids that those were the Spice Girls, yes. Which I think makes Shane Helms David Beckham. 1, 2, kick out by Chavo. Brian says those were the Nitro Girls. Liam says, I didn't like that Ray match. For me, this was just a spot fest. And I don't like that type of wrestling. I think it's just they've got limited time, you know. They're just getting, yeah, it was a spot fest. I mean, I think they literally had, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, if that. You can't really tell much of a story within that time. The Hurricane would go on to become Gregory Helms. Wrestling Days fan says, Days, how long are we sticking around after the show? Not too long. There's not been a great deal of news, to be honest. So there's not tons to talk about. We did a half hour before. Little roll through. That was a lovely move. Great height. Here we go. Shane against the ropes, over the top. Clothesline by Chavo Guerrero. Down goes Shane Helms. 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. So Shane Helms wearing black trunks, just plain white boots. Just looks like a generic wrestler. Compared to, obviously, when he'd go on to become the Hurricane. Do love the fact that we're outside. I think, are we at the beach? I'm guessing we're at the beach. Yeah, that looks like sand. And we've got these big pillars around the ring that's got the lighting rig on and everything. So it does feel like a pay-per-view. It has got a pay-per-view feel. Bang, down he goes. Chavo going for the pin. Kick out by Shane. If I remember right, all these matches are 7 to 8 minutes, says Brian. Well, they're definitely not outstaying their welcome. They're sort of just saying hello and then leaving these matches. Someone just threw something into the ring and I can't quite make out what it is. 2. Oh, Shane kicking out. Shout out to you, famous KJ. Big strike by Chavo. Chavo going against the ropes. Sliding through the legs of Shane. Nice pinning him. 2. Oh, no. He just hooked the legs. But couldn't get the 3 there, Shane. Shane round the back. Oh, backbreaker. By Sugar Shane. Someone, oh, it was a drink, was it? It looked like it might have been like a burger wrapper or something. Chavo into the corner. Sugar Shane going for a kick. No, reversed. It's a good match, this. Oh, super kick. Shane with the super kick. Vertebraker. Chavo. Oh, is he gonna hit the Vertebraker? Oh, he does! Whoa, there's a move that you don't see in WWE anymore. Ooh, Shane with the win. Chavo on his... Up next. That's it. Not even any time to celebrate. Bang, we're moving on. Chavo was on Shane's back. He was upside down. Shane kind of jumps down, driving Chavo's neck, his shoulders into the ring. It's a nasty move, that. Sean Reset says, Days the masks in the front row are La Parka masks. Thank you, Sean. It was also because those who weren't going to WWF didn't want to wrestle. WCW allowed wrestlers to do their own booking, and when they knew they were done, they couldn't be bothered. Great knowledge. Here we go. We got a little promo from Booker. Booker T says he's going to prove that he is the best this business has got to offer. Like I always say, don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Triple H. Time to play the game. Right, here we go. WCW Tag Titles. Mike Awesome. So, Team Canada. Lance Storm in this team as well. We saw Lance Storm in that ECW Barely Legal show. It's strange seeing this show on a square screen in 2020. Lance Storm again. Yes, we do have Lance Storm again. Fantastic wrestler, Lance Storm. Booker T told people to hate the game. Now we know why Triple H tried to bury him. Oh man, we're back with Vince again. Michael Cole! Look at Michael Cole. Amazing. He's got his WrestleMania 17 shirt on. He's got his frosted tips. Wow. How do you feel about your job security? And he waves him away. Trish. Here's to being forceful. How do we all feel? I feel deeply disturbed. Tony, that's how I feel. How do we all feel? I feel creeped out. I feel deeply disturbed. We can only react to what you see as well. What's he going to say? When's he going to say it? He looks so young. Future Hall of Famer, Michael Cole, says Human Detox. Shout out to Rick Buster and his son, Benny. Right, we've got Natural Born Thrillers. Sign in the crowd that says 4% body fat. If you have just joined us, we're at 40 minutes already. 40 minutes in already. We're at 41 minutes now. 41 minutes. Yeah, Benny. Shout out to Benny. Days, who are you hoping is going to win this year's Money in the Bank? I would love for it to be Ray or Apollo. I would like for it to be Aleister Black. I think Aleister Black is a big prospect, and this could just be the boost he needs, you know. Having that briefcase does put the spotlight on you. And I wouldn't have him cash in till next year. This is my favourite show, says Natasha Hurt. There's been some decent action. The matches haven't really been long enough to be, like, awesome or classics or anything like that. But, man, it's non-stop. It's breakneck speed. I've got a question, right? I've never actually watched this show all the way through. Did those segments with Vince and Trish also air on WWE at the same time? Because, of course, at the same time as this, Raw is on as well. I'm guessing those Vince and Trish segments are only on this show. So that means that WWE created content specifically for WCW. Isn't that amazing? If that's true. I can't imagine that it was on both shows. I can't imagine they showed those clips on WWE at the same time. So that means all those bits with Vince and Michael Cole and Trish, you could only see if you watched WCW. I mean, don't get me wrong. Probably best you didn't see them, but I think they did that so that they could give more time for Flair and Sting. Seeing Chuck Palumbo here reminds me of when he had a feud with Jamie Noble. Trip down. Kick to the midsection. He's looking for the awesome bomb. No, couldn't hit it. Super kick. This isn't looking good for Team Canada. 1, 2, 3. Another. It's done already. Palumbo and O'Hare. And again, look, boom, that's it. No time for celebrating. They literally win the match, jump up, and then there's a graphic saying coming up. Bam, bam. Boom, boom. Boom. Dave's random question. What is your all-time favourite wrestling entrance stage? Oh, let me know yours in the chat. What is your all-time favourite wrestling entrance stage? It's a good shout. There's Stacy. Oh. Dace, do you think we'll get both briefcases on one brand or different? Because if different, if Raw wins the first, then SmackDown will win the second, might make it easier to call the match. It could go anywhere. They might not do. They could have both go to Raw. How many of you young college hunks want to see me dance right now? Want to see me take it off? It was such a different time. Karate Buff says literally every match was a filler. The man that rocks my world. Sean Stasiak. Son of Stan the Man. WrestleMania 33, X17. What? Oh, people are saying their favourite stages. WrestleMania 30 or WrestleMania 33. She's talking about her stays. Some real college hunks. Shut up. Taking a page out of Vince McMahon's book. Here comes Bam Bam. Bam Bam. What's he got tattoo stuff for? What's happening? He's got tattoo stuff. Clothesline. Down goes Stasiak. Don't like this version of Bam Bam. I've actually got the Bam Bam figure still down here because we were looking at it the other day. I was talking about how I dropped it when I first got it and broke the arm. But there, that's Bam Bam, isn't it? Bam Bam. Now this t-shirt wearing, no colour ring attire mess. At least he's got two arms though, so fair play to him. Triple H 25 years was funny, says Marcus. Days, watch Raw from the 26th of March after this and get the idea from the other perspective. Oh, big strike by Stasiak. Bam Bam. Stacy keeping a hold of Stasiak's legs. Oh. 1, 2, 3, done. What is going on? What is this show all about? And now we got William Regal. Look, he's telling Vince, look at this on the back. No, and it's got a logo here. I've heard you're buying WCW. It's an awful place. Regal says, I don't want to second guess you, but are you really sure? It's an awful place. Just little moments where they're just absolutely ripping into WCW. I had no idea these little Vince moments were dotted all throughout the show. We got DDP. Isn't it crazy that the matches are really quick? It's got loads of little Vince appearances. There's no like video packages or anything to celebrate WCW. Do you know what I mean? They're not talking about. I can't. It's such a weird show. If you was a fan watching this, you would totally be expecting WCW next week. Totally. DDP says he wants to thank the WCW fans and his wife, Kimberly. Bam Bam in WWF was a beast. Bam Bam in WCW lost to a neck breaker. Why does NWA have what AEW needs? Night of Champions continuing. So we're seeing Rick. Okay, just as I said, there's no video packages. We get a video package. Vader and Kevin Nash, Jeff Jarrett and the Giant, Dusty Rhodes, Ron Simmons, Lou Thez, Ronnie Garvin, Terry Funk, Great Muta and Sting and Bret Hart, Hogan and Sid, DDP. It's literally not their show. I do know, actually. I do know that the WWE were, like, co-producing. I think WCW were still producing it. But it is crazy that this is being advertised as the final Nitro. And there's a real lack of retrospective. There's a real lack of looking back. The whole theme of the show is building towards that Vince moment at the end, isn't it? We got Vince on the phone now. Here we go. Look, he's grabbing his jacket. It's just about that time. Days, I would give Alistair a custom briefcase. The green one would not work with him. WCW management was hoping there would be a WCW the next week. Legit, no one knew what was next. No one knew Shane was coming until he shows up. You get that vibe. You really get that vibe that they don't know what's coming. They don't know what's about to happen. Because they're just kind of focusing on these matches. But these matches are just so fast and just kind of feels like everything is completely an undercard to Vince McMahon's announcement. Here he is again, look. Rey Mysterio. Liam Fletcher says, I missed the ECW show, but I'm happy to catch this one. Big Boots coming in. So, I need to change the graphic, don't I? Up here. I can't believe it. We've already got past the Sean Stasiak match. We're now at Filthy Animals. Elix Skipper? Romero. Is it Romeo? There we go. This is for the WCW Cruiserweight tag titles. Then, obviously, we saw that they had a match and qualified for this earlier. So, Filthy Animals taking on Elix Skipper and Kid Romeo for the WCW Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships. And honestly, after this, I think we've got one more match. I think the only match after this is Sting versus Ric Flair. How long's gone? How long have we got left? 54 minutes have gone. So there's just over half an hour left. We've got this match, and as we said, Ric Flair versus Sting. On the competing Raw, The Rock and Stone Cold defeat the Brothers of Destruction, says Brian. Ray was fantastic in WCW, says Sean. I wish they would have brought the Cruiserweight Tag Championships to WWE. Yeah, good knowledge from Know Your Bro. They didn't move those Cruiserweight Tag Championships over, did they? Those aren't belts that we ever got. But yeah, it's quite interesting. Here we go. Ray jumping in. Seated senton. Big forearm strike. Kid Romeo. Middle of the ring, Rey Mysterio. Tornado DDT. 1, 2. Forearm to the back. Days Triple H 25 continues on Raw. Does it? What do you mean? Oh, to the outside goes Kid Romeo. Days Jeff Hardy said he's going to be bringing back his old theme song, No More Words. And I can't wait for it to return. Bam Bam versus Vader. Who will win? Well, I feel like they did face each other. They were in a tag team together in New Japan. I feel like if you had both in their prime, I think Vader wins. Bronco Buster by Rey. Clothesline by Kid Romeo. Rey Mysterio to the outside. I can't even see what that says. Put me in the ring. Someone's got a sign that says put me in the ring. That's the exact kind of thing WCW would have done. Grab someone from the crowd. Here we go. Rey in there. Pick up. Power bomb to Kid Romeo. Rey Mysterio. On the outside. An unmasked Rey. Delivering a headbutt. 1, 2. And he gets a 2. What year was this? This was 2001. March 26th, 2001. And I think it was about early April. May even have been April 1st that we got WrestleMania 17. So this is literally days, just days before WrestleMania 17. Isn't it crazy? And that's regarded as like WWE's best ever show. No, revert. Ah! Face first, 2, 3. And they've done it. Those filthy animals. Those filthy animals. I want to see those Cruiserweight tag team belts. Billy Kidman. Billy Kidman was a big deal. Oh, those belts are awful. Sting! Sting! Not for nothing would I miss this night. One more dance with the Nature Boy. We're going to end it once and for all. We've got these bats hanging up, swinging in this, like, dark room. It's showtime. This is great. Hey, WCW Spring Break. Are we back at 1-800... No, we're America Online. America Online. There's never been a better time to sign up. Spring Break. Woo! There's never been a better time. Guys, if you're watching this advert thinking, is the internet going to stick around? Is it a fad? Go for it. Go for it. They've got water pistols. It's also innocent. 6.0 version 6.0. Spring Break. William Hensey says, I always liked Scott Norton. Norton versus Vader. Here's Vinnie Mac. Eric Haberman says, Days, that's when the world changed a few months later. Absolutely. Right, Mr. McMahon is making his way to the ring. Ric Flair. Man, it feels like 2 seconds ago Ric Flair was in the ring. Challenging Sting. Days, there's going to be... I've just heard about that, yes. Nature Boy coming down. He's got a t-shirt on under the robe. I'm sure I've heard him say in interviews that he was not a fan of, WCW. He was pleased when the company went, and he wasn't in great shape. And I think that's why he's wearing that t-shirt. 'Cause it's a bit weird seeing him wear a t-shirt. Here he is, the Nature Boy. I wish YouTube was around in the 90s. Well, Jay, it was. You just needed to sign up to version 6 of America Online. Spring break! Woo! Ric Flair. Here comes Sting. Here comes the man they call Sting, the Stinger. One of my all-time favourite superstars. I love Sting. Isn't that weird how I'm not a big WCW fan? There's like more Nitros that I've not seen than have seen. Way more. But Sting always resonated with me. He had that it factor. Even as a kid, I could have named you no one in WCW except for Sting. He just had it. His promos, his look, the face paint was a big part of it. Absolutely. He bled WCW. He stayed with them all throughout. EC3 changing the game. AOL dial-up, yes. Days, what's your favourite superstar? Diz Salah 11. I am a big fan of Asuka. Here we go. Look, we're starting off. Hopefully they give this match time. Come on, this is the Nature Boy taking on Sting. Pushing the ref pushing back. Little Nate. Sting chants from the crowd. Days, Asuka has changed. She has changed. Imagine the Firefly Funhouse interrupting Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar and Bray talking to Paul. Easy peasy. Sting, it's you and me. This is the last match. The last WCW Nitro match is Flair versus Sting, and that is what we're watching right now. This is big. Big chop by Nature Boy. Sting in the corner. Just imagine we're going to go through the greatest hits, aren't we? I feel the match between The Fiend and Braun is going to be almost as compelling as the one with John Cena. Slammed out, nice drop kick by Sting. I think it'll be a match. I think that Fiend Braun will be a match. Or Bray versus Braun, because they haven't advertised it as The Fiend. Flair outside having to regroup. Sting urging that the crowd gets a little louder. We've seen these moves hundreds, maybe thousands of times, but we still marvel at what they do. This is WCW. You couldn't book a more WCW match. It just needs to have a really awful, badly booked finish, and then it will be perfect WCW. Smile on the face of Sting. Smile on the face of the Nature Boy who's styling and profiling. Strutting away. Kick to the midsection. I am at 1 hour 6 minutes. 1 hour 6 minutes. We got 22 minutes left, and that is it. 22 minutes left. Big strikes, big right hands coming in by Sting. Hey, Wrestling Days. I got Wendy's. I am jealous. Ric Flair down. He's trying to get back up. Chop by Flair and Sting. Oh, there we go. Classic Ric Flair. Low blow. Low blow by the Nature Boy. That's amazing. The Fiend is a part-timer. He appears on the big shows only. Charles Robinson looks young. Stinger, chant, chop by Flair. And another one. Sting goes down. Flair backs into the corner. Drops the knee. Classic Ric Flair. I like the fact they're giving this match some time. The simulcast is still to come. Shucky ducky quack quack. Another chop by Flair against the ropes. Straight to the midsection. Sting quickly popping back up though. Grabbing Flair. Look at that. Flair wasn't prepared. Look how quick Sting managed to get up, get over to the corner. Hurls Flair over. Delivers a clothesline and another. Against the ropes goes Flair, but he holds onto the rope. Sting down. Middle of the ring. Here we go. Ric Flair with the figure four. Figure four leg lock, middle of the ring. It's worth saying as well that ring canvas is very plain, very dull. Like, you would have thought that it would have had a nice Nitro kind of logo on or something like that. But it's not. It's just plain and grey. It's a horrible colour. It's just a horrible ring. Figure four, middle of the ring. Are you streaming anything tomorrow? Yeah, we'll stream on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel because we need to work out what we're going to watch on Thursday. Don't actually know what the NWA have got for us on Tuesday this week. I'm not sure. Here we go. Look, Ric Flair trying to turn over, but of course we got Raw on Monday. Pressure was reversed by Sting. So Flair breaks the hold. Both guys getting back up. Nice chop by Flair. Sting just stares at him. There is a curious George plush in the crowd. Here we go. Ric Flair backed into the corner. Some big chops by Sting. Nice. Oh, he never made it. He never made it. Flair normally gets hurled into the corner and he'll flip over and then he'll run along the edge and he'll get knocked down. But he never made it over the top. Scorpion Deathlock. Oh, done. That's it. Done. End that. Done. Sting wins. And Sting goes straight over, grabs Ric Flair, picks him up, and the two of them hug, the two of them embrace. Days, this is when matches were good, says Jerry Smith. Birrock says, Sting reminds me so much of the guy from the Crow movies. Tony saying it's been an emotional roller coaster for all. We don't just work for WCW. We live WCW. Okay, so... Right, here we go. So, Lillian Garcia announcing Mr. McMahon. So, we've actually got WWF footage now. So, we've actually gone over to WWF. There's people in the crowd. The winner of the Monday Night Wars. So we've gone over to Raw. How random again. Can you picture this in 2020 if this was AEW? And during AEW, we switched over to NXT. This broadcast is not only being seen on TNN, but also... Does it mean TNT? It switched after the last match, yes. Isn't it weird? All of you know that I have acquired WCW. I bought my competition. Could you imagine being a WCW fan sitting there just waiting and listening to find out what the future's going to hold? No one knows what to do with it. Time Warner is begging me to buy this. There's only one caveat. I will sign the contract. I'm going to sign it this Sunday at WrestleMania. I'll sign it when Ted Turner brings it down. So he wants Ted Turner to bring the contract to him at WrestleMania. Of course, we know that wouldn't happen, but... How did you do it, Vince? Do you think the company will be better when Steph takes over? Well, you know that Triple H's influence will be felt more when that happens, definitely. But if creative improves, business could decline. Vince is nothing but business. He's cutthroat. And as a businessman, he has been so successful. How can you beat a billionaire? Well, there's only one answer. You have to become one yourself. This is history, by the way. This is proper history. I know a lot of you watching will know this. I want Ted to see what I'll do to my own son, Shane. Of course, we saw and watched WrestleMania 17 the other week. Brilliant show. Loads of signs in the crowd as well. See rock signs and everything. Shout out to Mr. Wrestling Game. This is the final Nitro, yes. Where am I at? Yusuf, we're quite far in. We're at 1 hour, 16 and 13 seconds. In my corner will be Steph. So again, he's using this to promote WrestleMania. My companion, Linda. I missed the signs, says Kenny. Hello to Cameron, hope you are well. Don't feel bad, Shane. My dad regretted my birth too. Vince says, I could put it on the shelf. I could do that. Well, you did. And he takes the mick out of Hogan. I could just watch videotapes of Hogan doing this, whatever this was. Well, it's what you used to make him do. He who laughs last laughs best. I think it's laughs loudest. Yeah, he is loving it. How different would WWE be if this hadn't happened? It's hard to know how it would have played out. Vince says we could take WCW and turn it into WWE. Who should be a part of it? Maybe you can help me. We're going to vote. So, Hulk Hogan? He's like, shall we take Hulk Hogan? Or no? There was cheers for Hogan. Not that loud, actually. They're not feeling Luger. I don't think they really get the system. Whoa! Huge reaction for Buff Bagwell. That was a big reaction. That was bigger than Hogan and Luger put together. Booker T, they're into Booker T. Bigger pop, yes. Big Popper Pump. Ric Flair lost. I totally didn't expect that, says Natasha. I don't know that you've actually helped me. Goldberg chants. Goldberg signs. Sting, yes! Big cheer for Sting. Massive reaction for Goldberg. That's why he keeps putting the title on him. He's still hearing that reaction. If Buff Bagwell would have lost the attitude, he would have been big in WWE. They loved him. He was over with that crowd. The Redneck Riviera. He says he could have got on a plane and flown down to the Redneck Riviera. The Office loved Buff, but his match with Booker T on Raw made them fire him. Keeps banging on about these rednecks, doesn't he? There's obviously a few here tonight. We've got literally 6 minutes left of this show. This has been Vince McMahon gloating. That's it. He says he wants to look them in the face and say, "You're fired." WCW is going on the shelf. WCW will remain buried. Just like anyone that gets in my way. Ruthless. Big Papa Pump was NWO. Wish Sting had joined instead of TNA when they started. I deserve more respect. He's certainly making a lot more sense here in 2001 than he does on 2020. You will treat me with respect. Shout out to you, Cameron. Here we go. Shane's music plays. Obviously, it was going to be Shane versus Vince at WrestleMania. These two were facing each other just a few days after this. So that's why he doesn't look best pleased at seeing his son. Shane is over in WCW. So Shane has come walking out. There we go. There's Shane in the ring on Nitro in Florida. Shane, where are you? What's up, Vince? I love this moment. What a moment this is. What a moment this is. Surprise, Dad. Look at Vince's face. Yeah, KJ Carter, go ahead. Your ego has got the best of you. What is that, Shane? Here comes the money. So we can actually see Shane on Nitro Vince on Raw. Side by side. That's just the opportunity I was looking for. The deal is finalized. The name on the contract is McMahon. Shane McMahon. Look at Vinnie Mac's face. Shane says, I now own WCW. Perfect. It's perfect. Everything that followed absolutely was not, but this. Amazing. Absolutely brilliant. John says, man, these were the best days. WWE versus WCW versus ECW. Shane McMahon celebrates in the ring on Nitro. The final shot that we see on Nitro is a confused face of Vince. We go back to Shane in the ring. Such a wrestling moment. A broken Vince in the ring now. I mean, it does make all those little... I'm not going to say it makes them worth it. We saw a lot of Vince throughout this show. I didn't know this as well. They're actually advertising the matches that are coming up on Raw. Good night and goodbye. Was that actually put on the show? This little graphic it says Nitro, good night and goodbye. And that was it. Wow. Do you know, there's loads about that's kind of blown my mind. Yeah, having those little Vince moments all throughout the night was interesting. I mean, some of them went maybe a little far with the Trish stuff, but it was to get him over as a heel, wasn't it? And then at the end, for the rug to be pulled from under him. It does build that moment up even more. I didn't realise that Raw actually carried on after WCW. So one of the final things we see is an advert for what's still to come on Raw on WCW. And then that good night and goodbye graphic. Weird little thing that was thrown in. I've not seen that before. Really, really weird show that. Really, really weird show because it was... the matches were like a lot of championship matches, but there was none of them were really given any time to establish themselves or to go anywhere or for anything to really happen with them. It was really strange. Really, really strange. I mean, you can tell that the action, the wrestling, the match, it was all absolutely secondary. People still went out there and, tried. Certainly Ric Flair and Sting tried, even if Ric Flair wasn't in the shape of his life, which is why he was having to wear that t-shirt. Clearly meant a lot to them. And there was a lot of contracts that weren't with WCW. A lot of those big stars were on big contracts, but their contracts were with TNN or TNT or whatever the network was. It was TNT, wasn't it? Turner Network Television. So their contracts were with them. So when Vince buys WCW, he doesn't get those big names. So the people that end up going to WWE are the smaller names, in truth. It's the smaller names that go over. The mid-carders, the low-end carders, you're not getting Sting. You're not getting Hogan. You're not getting Goldberg and people like that. And so, actually, what follows is very disappointing. We never get the WCW show. Didn't they try and do WCW segments on WWF shows rather than give WCW its own show, which would have made a lot of sense? But again, I do understand it's hard to give it its own show if you haven't got Sting and you haven't got Flair and you haven't got Goldberg and you haven't got Hogan and you haven't got Nash and you haven't got Luger. Do you know what I mean? Like, you go through the list of all the, like, you haven't really got WCW. You've got the name, you've got the tape library, you've got the history, and as you said, you've got the name. But if you haven't got their big stars, what can you do? What can you do with it going forward? Floundered, didn't it? It was a complete mess. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. It's a very, very interesting time in wrestling, but I think the way that ended is just such a great moment in wrestling. I know a lot of you have got affection for it. See Wrestling says, if I remember right, Nitro finished 15 minutes early to give Raw a ratings boost at the end. Daze, do you think if the big names would have gone, then the invasion would have had a different outcome? 100%. 100%. I think people, I mean, you heard the reaction. The crowd were chanting for Goldberg. The crowd wanted, at that stage, Goldberg. And there was definitely names that the crowd had a great deal of respect for Sting. And they would have welcomed the NWO in and people like that. So, absolutely. I mean, if they'd have picked up the big name stars as well, I can't see any reason why you wouldn't have run WCW as its own show and just carried WCW on. It could have been that would have been, you know, like how NXT is Triple H's project. It could have been that Shane would have had WCW. It could have been that he would then run that show. The problem was, very, very quickly, they found out what they had actually acquired for the money, which I think was around about $2.5 million. I think that's how much it cost them to buy. About $2.5 million. And which is not that much money at all, because if I remember right, Eric Bischoff was trying to buy WCW at the same time, and he was bidding $40 million. But the problem was, when he was bidding, WCW was still going to have its TV slot. But it very quickly became apparent it would be losing that. Whoever bought it was not going to be getting TV time as well. You are buying some mid-carders, the WCW name, some rings, and the history, the back catalogue, like the video library. That's what you're getting for your money. That was not worth $40 million. And Vince ended up paying $2.5 million. So, yeah, I mean, he has made that so many times over, from DVD sales of, like, the best of WCW. He's had money that way. Obviously, all the content is on the network. So, WCW fans can subscribe to the network and go back and watch Thunder, watch Nitro, watch those old pay-per-views. Plus, you know, just the buzz that it created at the time and the invasion angle, which did flop, but you didn't know it was going to flop until it had actually flopped. You know, the whole build and everything, people were super on board. You could even say that it added some extra intrigue to WrestleMania 17. I mean, definitely added intrigue. Definitely added intrigue. There was actually meant to be the WCW wrestlers were going to interfere during Shane versus Vince at WrestleMania 17. That was the plan. But when they actually, I think, who was it? I can't remember. One of the guys actually spoke about it in a bar. This is like an urban myth, which I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently they were meant to interfere in that match. And one of the WCW guys was chatting in the bar, in the hotel bar, about, yeah, this is the plan. Vince heard, got annoyed, and completely changed the plan. So that's why at WrestleMania 17, you just see them kind of sat all the way up in the rafters It's like the WCW wrestlers are here as well, up there in the distance, and they're just kind of sat there looking that you can't even quite make out who's up there. But yeah, they completely changed direction on it. So it's such an interesting topic. So cool. But yes, I do. It would have been completely different. NWO did come in at No Way Out, but it was 2002. You are correct. Chris Jericho said when he found out how little WCW was bought for, he wanted to buy it. What was the main event? Well, the main event match that we watched of tonight was Sting versus Ric Flair, and then, of course, the whole Vince McMahon thing. At WrestleMania 17, the main event was Stone Cold versus The Rock. Liam says, this show was absolutely terrible. What a joke. The whole show was a decent first match, loads of filler matches, and a very underwhelming main event. Absolutely terrible. Well, there we go. I mean, I wouldn't get too upset about it, Liam. It was 19 years ago, so do you know what I mean? Time heals all wounds. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But, yeah, I mean, what has surprised me was the lack of looking back. The lack of, here's another magic WCW moment, or, you know, maybe a few more people sharing some memories. I mean, we did get to see DDP doing that, in all fairness. But yeah, I think I expected a bit more on that front. But as C Wrestling said earlier, they didn't quite know where they were going to be taking it. I mean, they didn't really have a plan for WrestleMania other than that run-in, which is rumored, and obviously that changed as well. But yeah, it all happened so fast that there wasn't really a plan, and they were still trying to work out what they had bought. They didn't even know really what they had managed to pick up at this stage. It was obviously, I mean, these things take a long time, these kind of negotiations, whereas this all happened in such a short space of time that it's crazy. It's you could talk on this subject for so long. But a real pleasure to watch that show. A real pleasure to watch that show. And with that, my friends, I think we're done. I think we are done. It was a special little birthday treat, a little one-off. We don't normally do these watch-alongs on a Saturday. But yeah, we were free tonight, and obviously it was C Wrestling's birthday, so this is something that C Wrestling wanted to check out, and yeah, I'm really glad that we did. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed going back and watching that. So we will do another live stream tomorrow on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. I'll put details on Twitter as to when we're going to do that. That's going to be a Sunday night faff around. We're not going to watch any wrestling. We're going to talk about wrestling. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But yeah, we're going to be trying to decide what we will watch on Thursday. And so you guys will be able to decide that. So Philip asking, are you streaming tomorrow? We are. Shattered Lord of All Skull Faces says, did I just start at the end? You did just start at the end, yes. We started a couple of hours ago. If you go back, rewind, you'll be able to re-watch it with us. And it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely a show worth watching. Sonny Wolf says, sing him happy birthday. We can end on that. So, to our good friend C Wrestling, who is in the background. It's not just a random baby behind me, yeah? Don't think I've lost my mind. That was sent by C Wrestling. So, all together, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, C Wrestling. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Yes, 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 yes. Happy birthday, C Wrestling. Go and show C some love. I'm sure he's got some videos up for you to check out, some theory videos and things. A great YouTuber who's had a lot of success in recent times, and may that success continue evermore. So happy birthday to C Wrestling. Thank you all to everyone that joined us for this very special stream, and hopefully see you all again next time. Bye for now.